fresh produce, growing in the heart of the city.
Gardens are not just for people in the country with large yards or lots of acreage. At one Knoxville spot among the highways, railroad tracks, and abandoned buildings, you will find food growing on a lot now known as Abbey Fields. We talked to the founder and farmer about how urban farming is taking root and helping neighborhoods.
It's still not super recognizable from the road. The fence helped a lot. People who are familiar with the area know, that something's happening. This used to be an overgrown, trashy lot. So of course when we brought in equipment to clear, and then just seeing people out here was a very different sight for the last few years. But when people, a lot of times people walk by and kind of bring their dogs up and say, oh my gosh, like there's stuff growing here. What is this? How can we get involved? So yeah, it's just something, you literally come right across the tracks and it's there. And so it does surprise a lot of people, yes. My name is Brenna Wright, and we are at Abbey Fields Urban Farm in Knoxville, Tennessee. I first got the idea for Abbey Fields just from kind of reading up on, food security, some of the more abstract ideals of stewardship and land care and community care. I was originally in social work in Kansas. My husband and I have lived here for 5 years now, but I was working in the social work realm in Kansas, and just was really having a hard time with some of the clinical approaches, especially with children. And so it was kind of a little bit stir crazy, I guess, in the walls of those sorts of institutions, and felt like kids needed to get outside, needed to see life, needed to work with their hands and kind of see results. So I kind of had all that stuff going on in my head when we moved here. We started a small garden. We moved just a half a mile away. And so I would walk my dog by this lot and, kind of got this idea, there's all this vacant land in the city. Why couldn't we transform it into something that would give, one, good food to people, and also a destination for folks who need something different. We're kind of right in the middle of two neighborhoods, on the side of a highway, the side of a railroad track. This building is the old Standard Knitting Mill that used to function. It closed down in the late 80s, and so this is part of its green space. We are development supported agriculture, which means the development company that bought that building, that owns this land, has invested in us as a small business venture. And so it's kind of taken off elsewhere in the nation. When they're building new communities, sometimes they'll put in a farm instead of, say, tennis courts or a golf course. They'll just have put in a small scale farm that's walkable distance to their community. And that's kind of like an amenity to that community. So it's caught on in quite a few other states. It's the first of its kind here, but that's what this is essentially. So when they do develop this building, this farm will kind of act as, a green space, a food source, and just an overall kind of pretty thing to consider an amenity. There's a big push, especially in these downtown neighborhoods, to clean up blight. And I think that has been kind of a dream come true for some folks who have lived here for a long time. Just to see this plot transformed into something good, something that they can come visit, come get to know people at. We host a lot of different groups that get to come and work, and we're very thankful for their time and labor. But also they tell us how great it is having a local food source that they can see every time they drive by. It's very reassuring. Because we're small, we plant close together, everything's done by hand. We do have a walk-behind tiller that we use to kind of turn under cover crop and that sort of thing, but most generally everything's done by hand by me or my work shares. So that makes it different, but in that system you can grow more food, which makes an acre and a half able to feed 50 families. So the way that community-supported agriculture works is you commit to a farm, a farmer, or farmers for the duration of their seasons. You pay for your share up front, and I commit to having vegetables for them 27 weeks out of the year. Some weeks you're getting twice what you paid for, some weeks you're getting right at what you paid for, and some weeks, I might have lost all of my cauliflower and Brussels sprouts and you just don't get those. So you're not only investing in local agriculture, but you're also investing in someone's livelihood, the livelihood of the piece of property they're stewarding, and you're kind of saying, we're in this with you. However this goes, we support you. in your project and your mission. A good example of our share today is tomatoes, chard, cucumbers, squash, potatoes, onions, garlic. What I tell people is pretty much anything you see at the farmer's market, we grow here. Because we're in the model of community-supported agriculture, people come weekly, they pick up a bit of vegetables. I like to give them a variety of different things. So we don't grow a lot of anything. We grow a big diversity of things. Today is one of our pickup days. I'll just have a steady flow of work shares that come in, help me harvest. We wash everything, and then people will start coming at 4, and we just load up their bags. They say hi, and then they go.
Yeah. Is this for someone?
It is a labor of love to be able to work and provide food for them. They bring their kids, and you say, oh, you think in your head, I'm helping to feed that family. I love that they get to see what their investment is doing. So when they come and see, we've built another section of the farm, or we've got this group out that's helping us, it's just very gratifying for them to be able to come here directly to the farm where they're getting their food and see the difference we're making in the community. So it's kind of just full circle every pickup day, I feel like. I still feel hokey sometimes when I say I'm an urban farmer. I would much rather start with my experience on a rural 30-acre farm rather than say I run an 1.5-acre farm in the middle of the city. So I think I'm still getting over that hump that, it's not just container gardening. It's not just people having a bed and then working it when they have time. You can actually have a working farm that is enriching a piece of property, that is providing good food for families, but it can be in the middle of the city. Why shouldn't it be in the middle of the city? If we've got all this blighted land, why not use it for that? For me, this site is very endearing. For new people coming to the farm, they don't see it yet, but because I've worked with my hands and my friends and different organizations, I have deeper memories already of this place, which makes me care for it differently.